Shashank this side. I hope everybody is doing well and safe at home. As you can see on my screen, topic for today is Amazon Workspaces. This is one of an end user computing module from Amazon where we can use Workspaces as a cloud-based virtual desktop environment. What does that mean? So in most of the organization, we are familiar with the VDIs, virtual desktop. To connect to the client environment, we always use VDI, and once we connected to the client environment using VDI, we can access all the servers. We can perform all sorts of scripting, automation as per the networking what we have designed. The same functionality we are getting with Amazon Workspaces, where it is more secure, more reliable, managed services from Amazon, scalable as per the requirement to all the persistent desktop from any location. So for example, if we are operating from 5, 6 different region within AWS and every region has some sort of servers, then we can use workspaces and the networking communication model to access those servers. We can do a lot of automation from one place and we can access all the services, all the resources based upon the access what we have given to our IAM role. So Amazon Workspaces, as I said, it's a cloud-based virtual desktop that can act as a replacement for the traditional VDIs. A workspace is available as a bundle of operating system. So we are getting flavors of Windows and Linux. Compute resources, storage, we are also getting storage and software application that allow you to perform day-to-day routine, just like a traditional desktop. So that's what Amazon Workspace in general, the generic definition is all about, where we can access all our resources from one place. We are getting storage, we are getting OS as a bundle, we are getting all your softwares on your system. Now, this is the architecture that what we have given by AWS. So to create workspaces, what we have to do, we have to set up an AWS directory. So I have already covered AWS directory services in detail. So I'll share the link in the description section if you're not aware of it. So this is kind of a managed AD. You can say we'll be going to create our simple AD within AWS environment. You can also use your on-premises AD environment to connect to the workspaces. Then you have to choose your workspace based upon the bundle of OS, Windows or Linux, depend upon what we want to interact with. If we are a Linux based user, then obviously we'll prefer to use Linux based system, or if we are more towards Windows environment, then we'll be going to choose the Windows OS as a bundle, as a custom golden image. Then once we created those environment, there are like few set of configuration to give access to the users, and finally we'll be going to create our AWS workspaces, a centrally manage your desktop and stream them to any users. Users are securely access their desktop through browser or native client. So there are like two ways of accessing the workspace. We get a browser based interaction, plus we also get a client based interaction. I use workspaces a lot into my different client environments, and this is very useful. It's like a 50-50 combination. I use Windows workspaces plus Linux workspaces as well. Okay, so in order to do the practical, we have to jump into our AWS management console. So let's jump to our AWS management console and try to create a workspace. In order to create workspaces, either you can search workspaces in the search bar or go to services, end user computing, and click on workspaces. Now, to create workspace, as I said earlier during our theoretical part, we have to create the Active Directory services or the directory services in order to maintain and manage all the users what we have in our domain. So click on get started now. We have two kind of setup, quick and advanced. For this video, I'm going for the advanced setup, where at least you can understand how you can create the AD services, and then on top of that, we'll be going to have our workspaces landed. Click on launch. Now we have three options: manage AD, simple AD, and AD connector. When you use AD connector, you can use this as a proxy to your on-premises AD environment. AWS Manage Microsoft AD is a fully managed Active Directory services provided by AWS. I'm going with simple AD over here. Click next, choose small, company name, let's go tech in cloudy way. Then domain, I'll go with .com. You can leave this optional admin password. So it's test1234, confirm test1234. Okay, minimum 8 characters. Then let's see if this works. Yes. Okay, click next. Here you have to select your VPC. I'm going with my VPC and private subnets. So this is my private subnet 1, and let's see private subnet 2 in the 2 availability zone. Click next, click create. So 30 days, again you will get a free trial for this, but my account is already very old, so and I have used a lot of AD creation during my demos, so this will be going to cost a bit for me. This will take time for the creation because it creates everything, every module related to the Active Directory in the backend. Meanwhile, let me show you the subnets that I have selected. I have selected the private subnet. So let's go to VPC. I still have to create a Nad Gateway because I've deleted the Nad Gateway before creating this video. So for that, let's go to subnets first. And before that, let me grab the ID of my VPC, subnets. And these are the five subnets, out of which this one I have selected. If I go to the route table, you can see I have NAT, but this NAT is already deleted, so it is not working. Even if I SSH or RDP into my workspace, I might not be able to connect to the internet. Okay. And this is my second private subnet, again associated with the same NAT. If I go to Nad Gateway, I don't have any Nad Gateway created. So let me create a Nad Gateway quick one. AWS Workspace NAT, and subnet. I'm going to use only one NAT gateway. It's not a multi-zonal, so it has to be in public subnet. So let's select which one. Public 3. Let's go with this. Elastic IP, allocate Elastic IP over here and click on create. So once this gets created, I will associate this with my route table. Let's go back to our workspace. It's still creating, okay? Now, if I go to the route table, let's see which route table I am using for the private subnet. It has to be a single one only. Yep, this is the one. So click on routes. As you can see, black hole because the previous NAT gateway was already deleted long back. Now if I search for the NAT gateway, let's see. Still it's creating, so it will take a bit of time again. I'm going outside internet, then select NAT. Yep, we have to wait. So I'll be going to have this video pause for a minute or two, and once everything is available, I'll resume it back. So my directory is available and active, but as you can see, this is not registered yet. So for that, what we have to do, click on action and click register. And I'm going to use the same subnet, same private subnet that what we have used for creating the directory. Now for that, obviously I have to look at the number. So let's see the ID for the subnets. So I use this one which is ending with B5B. So let's go to directory, register, B5B, first one, and second one is ending with B8C. Okay, B8C, this is the one. Now you can enable the self-service permission management and work docs as well. So this will allow you to configure everything at the directory level and manage the permissions. Click on register. Now this is in the registering phase. Meanwhile, let's go to our route table, which is this one. Click on routes, edit, and remove the old NAT, bring the new NAT. Okay. Click on NAT gateway. Wow, Still not created. Where is NAT? It's available in the public subnet. Let's see what subnet I have selected. Oh, I selected a wrong subnet, I believe. Let's see. 1035. I'm operating from 1002. So that's my mistake. Let's delete this. Delete. Create another one. 1002 NAT. And the subnet that we'll be going to use is this one. We can use allocate IP and create. So let this be created first and we'll update our route table in some time. Now let's go back to our directory service. As you can see, it has been registered. Now in order to create the workspace on top of it, what we have to do, click on workspaces on the left. So as you can see, we are in workspace area and click on launch. Here by default we are getting our own directory that what we have created. Click next. Now since the directory is created is very new, there is no user, nothing is there. In order to create a new user and add that user to a workspace for the login, let's create a new one. I'll create mine as Abhishek. That's my first name, last name, and I'll give my email ID. So on this email ID, I will be receiving an email that with the set of instructions and everything, what needs to be done next. Okay, click on create user. Okay, so one workspace, 20 users can be selected at a time. The only demerit what I see with this workspaces environment is like per user you can get one workspace. Multiple users cannot use one workspace. Okay, click next. Here you have to select your bundle, basically your OS environment. You can go with the Amazon Linux, which is into the free tier, then standard Windows 2016 again in a free tier, and 2019 is also available for the free tier. I believe 2022 was also there, but no idea. No, still not presented in the workspace area. So, or you can go with the Windows 10, Windows 2016 base server environment. Now for this video, I'm going to use Windows 10 2019, which is an eligible tier. Here you can change the root volume if you want to have more volume like 100, 120, or the user volume. Okay, click next. This is very important. Always on means every time your workspace will be in the available state. And once it is done with always on, it will be billed monthly. Here you can save a lot of cost, auto stop. So for example, if you're not using your workspace for let's say 2 hour or 3 hour, you can select the number of hours that you want to use, and if it is in idle state, it will go into the stopped state. So the bill happens by hour, but always on build happens monthly. So here you can auto stop, you can save a lot of money over here. You always have to encrypt your volume as part of the best security practices, and the user encryption volume as well. Give the tag it belonged to me and click next. Okay, launch workspace. This takes around 20 to 40 minutes to become into the available state from pending. So again, we have to wait for another 40 minutes or so. Once this becomes into the availability zone, like it's available, then I'll be going to resume my video back. Before pausing my video, let's go to VPC, route table, and my subnet, my route basically. Let's see if we have Nad Gateway available or not. Yes, we have. Save the changes. Now, even if I try to log into my workspace, RDP into it, I'll be able to connect to my internet environment from there. So let's wait for another 40 minutes. I'll resume it back and I'll show you the result. So my workspace is in available state now. In order to access the machine, the desktop itself, there are like two ways. Either you use web client or you use desktop client to log into the environment. Before that, let me show you an email that I have received from Amazon. Your administrator has created a workspace for you. This is the link to complete the profile. We are getting a registration code, and you can use this ID which we have choose while creating the workspace to log into the environment. You may download this client as well. Now, I already have a client downloaded into my system, but let me show you how you can download the client. So click on the link clients.amazonworkspace.com. Based upon your laptop configuration, you can download Windows client, iPad, Mac OS, Chromebook. So totally depend upon the requirement and the type of laptop you're using. I'm using MacBook. That's why I have a client of Mac installed on my machine. Second thing, let's click on this link to complete our profile. But now this is the user ID, okay, S Abhishek, and the new password. Let's give the new password. Okay, some special character. Okay, that looks fine. Yep. Update the user. Perfect. So my user has been updated successfully. Next step is, let's take down the registration code. You can also get the registration code once you expand this particular web ID. So your username, the name of your user, email ID, workspace IP address, and the registration code. As of now, this is disconnected because I have not connected to my workspace. So let's grab this and open our workspace, give the registration code, and wait for the login page to occur. Let's use our user ID. Okay, that should be the password. Launching our workspace, starting our workspace. Perfect. Which means now we are joining into the workspace world of Amazon. That's a VDI, and from here you can access all your resources. Again, depend upon how the networking configuration will be going to work for you, right? So for example, if you're originating from Virginia and you want to connect to Frankfurt, then you have to open a transit gateway connection or a peering connection between the two VPC IDs, right? Otherwise, you won't be able to access anything. Now, by default, we get Firefox. This is the by default browser what Amazon Workspaces uses. So I just want to show you I'm connected to the internet because I'm using a Nad Gateway. So let's do google.com. Here we go. So in order to check the Nad Gateway IP, what is my IP? 3.218.254.11. Let's go back to our VPC and let's see the workspace, the NAT gateway public IP address. This is the one which is in use, 3.218.254.11. So that's the outbound to the internet from your workspace. That's how we build a workspace in the world of Amazon Web Services. I hope this clears a lot in terms of the concept, the configuration, why we need the directory services to make it more secure, how you can use AD as Active Directory to integrate with your workspaces and everything. One more pointer I need to cover up over here. So there are like few different options that you can explore with the workspaces, where you have to select a workspace, go to the Actions tab, you can reboot the workspace, you can stop the workspace. If something corrupted with your workspace bundle, then you can restore, rebuild the workspace from here. Plus, if you want to remove the workspace, you can do that. If you want to modify a workspace, let's say you want to modify the root volume or the user volume, you can click the modify workspace and do that. If you want to, let's say, change the metrics of your CPU and memory, then you can go with the performance, power, and power pro based upon the usage that you have. And remember, this correspond to the cost. The service itself is free, but you have to pay for the use cases that you are doing with the workspace. In terms of the modify state, you can, if you are doing any kind of maintenance, then you can click on the admin maintenance and it will go into the maintenance phase, and rest of the other stuff, the patch and everything will get happen. Mostly once every month, Amazon do the maintenance on our workspaces, mostly in somewhere around Saturday or Sunday. I don't remember the time frame exactly, but since it's a managed services, all the management, if you're taking the bundle from Amazon, the maintenance and management done by the Amazon Web Services. Apart from that, if you want to create your own image or if you want to migrate your workspace to a different directory services, then you can do that to migrate workspace. As of now, it's not selected. At least 12 hours I have to wait for it after the creation. So these are the few options that you can explore. And also you can modify the run mode properties. So today, let's say I'm doing an auto stop every 1 hour. You want to modify that, you can do that from here. If you want to make it always on and build monthly, then you can go for that as well. So these are the few options that what we get as power of workspaces. So I hope this clears a lot, and please try onto your environment, show it to the management that instead of using VDIs or Bastion host, let's use workspaces to connect to the on-premises environment, to your any cloud vendor environment. Okay. So place out a comment in comment section if you're facing any issue. I'll be there to help you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.